And it says we're live.
It lies.
Yeah.
So when you're teaching your kids to count, should it be 1, 2, wall?
We're not going to start with that today. Joel, Josh, good to see you guys.
Oh my God, really?
Hey, John.
We are slightly popular.
Yeah.
Kind of scares me.
Joel, I don't know where you're located, but decided yesterday we're going to do FoolsCon too. So, for what that's worth, I may be bald by the time the damn thing's over, but that's beside the point. Anyway,
Having 2 daughters didn't do that to you?
well, it started me along the way. Trust me. Yes.
For some reason, folks, whenever I take the first sip of anything carbonated, I hiccup.
Yeah. It's the hiccup. All right. Anyway, I want to start with something rather interesting. A study was put out yesterday or day before yesterday by New York University Stern Center for Business and Human Rights.
I'm going to take a quick guess on the political bent of this particular institution,
Yeah.
and I'm going to guess it's not rightward.
No.
Okay.
Oh, damn, Joel. Okay. Well, consider yourself invited anyway if you ever get out this way. Hey, Sarah. So anyway, the false allegations, unfounded claims that social media censors conservatives. It starts off, the claim of anti-conservative animus is in itself a form of disinformation, a falsehood with no reliable evidence to support it, no trustworthy large-scale studies that have determined that conservative content is being removed from ideological sites, or that searches are being manipulated to favor liberal interest. Yada, yada, yada. It goes on for 20 pages. And then you finally get this statement.
The gator in the swamp, 20 pages later.
Yeah. The question of whether social media companies harbor an anti-conservative bias cannot be answered conclusively because data available to academic and civil society researchers is insufficient. Existing periodic enforcement disclosures by Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are helpful, but not granular enough for thorough analysis.
So they spend 20 pages saying, oh my God, this is not happening. There is no anti-conservative bias. And then on page 20, they said, we just can't prove it.
Yeah.
Here's my nuts. They can go ahead and suck it.
Yeah.
I apologize in advance for myself to say, but bitch, you're lying. I say this is the guy who's on day 10 of a 30-day ban from Facebook. My 5th such ban since August 5th.
Yeah. And Josh also got banned for the Kenosha hat trick picture.
What's the problem with shooting a pedophile, a domestic abuser, and a piece of shit?
Yeah, Jason, you're dead on the money.
No, we've been shut down.
Yeah, I know. The other good one is
you should see the comments I get that get me in trouble on Quora.
Focus on the Family got banned from Twitter because they violated the terms of service by this statement. Had chosen Dr. Rachel Levine to serve as Assistant Secretary of Health and Department of Human Services. Dr. Levine is a transgender woman, that is, a man who believes he is a woman. Flagged it.
That's the tweet.
That's the tweet.
And that got them banned.
Got them banned because in 2018, Twitter made a redefinition of hateful conduct to include, quote, targeting, misgendering, or dead naming a transgender individual.
And that's targeting.
But there's absolutely no proof of anti-conservative bias.
Yeah.
Again, here's my nuts. They can suck them.
Yeah. And one other one, believe science but not biology. Yes, that's true. Hey, Jonna. And last but not least, in the or economics, yeah, that's for damn sure. In the triumvirate this morning, They are pushing Trump to appoint a reality czar
Trump or Biden?
or Biden
A reality czar.
Yeah.
What the hell is a reality czar?
to counter disinformation and domestic extremism.
Oh, for God's sake.
The perspectives of truth may differ, but truth is truth.
So the Ministry of Truth, literally.
Yes.
The czar of truth. The
Yeah.
truth czar.
Do you really want .gov determining what is truth?
I've dealt
Bloody
with
hell,
Gov.
folks. Orwell's 1984 was not a goddamn blueprint.
I've dealt with VA Health for most of the last 8 years now. I wouldn't want them running my healthcare. Why the hell would I want them picking what is truth and what is not?
Yeah.
Go ahead. They should do that. They should knock themselves out. And when the next Trump, or worse than Trump, comes along for the right and appoints his or her own truth czar,
Yeah.
let's see how they like that.
Yep. And John brings up a good point. The mask cops are coming.
Ooh,
The hell's a mascot?
The feds are going to start arresting people for not wearing masks in public.
ooh. Who are they going to send for this? Are we going to get blue-helmeted UN troopers? I need targets.
Under what guidelines?
That hadn't been decided yet.
So is it going to be Walmart or is it going to be restricted to federal facilities?
Just like everything else coming out of this bunch.
Yes.
Who friggin' knows? CDC guidelines. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't wear 2 masks, or is it 3 masks now, you'll be in violation.
Going to be a lot of people getting hurt.
Yep. Fed buildings, airports, and public transportation.
Going to be a lot of people getting hurt.
Yep.
Yep.
That it will.
I
be.
want to know how they're going to enforce the hell out of this in a place like Los Angeles public transit. Please show me how you're going to arrest 50 homeless people crammed onto an LA Metro bus.
I want to see.
I want to see this.
the federal criminal statute that they'll be arresting under.
Yeah. That would be kind of interesting because there isn't one,
They didn't show me a law.
and there isn't one. It's an EO. So, yeah,
So
that's law now.
Wait. When did that get approved by
An EO
Congress?
is not a legal statute.
You know that. I know that. Everybody watching knows that.
You can't do a criminal charge, a criminal arrest, and a criminal conviction on an executive order.
You're right.
Okay.
And Josh says, yeah, because the Fed LEOs are just so hot to wear the face diapers themselves.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, not so much.
Speaking of, the Rangers and the Phoebes got a prominent local businessman today.
Oh, yes, they
Yes,
did.
they did. I saw that. Is that the
Ouch.
owner of that?
Yes.
Yes.
As in the one who owns that museum?
Uh-huh.
No, that's his daddy that
Daddy
owns the
owns the
museum.
Daddy owns it.
And daddy, I'm going to guarantee you, is not happy with that boy.
What gave it away? I
I
mean, damn.
and John V says, I think they're going to use TSA to enforce it at first. And we know what kind of people they are. Yep. That we do.
I don't believe I've ever seen where TSA has powers of arrest, search, and seizure.
They don't.
They don't.
So how can you arrest if you don't have the powers?
They'll have airport police step in after they
Arrest,
detain a
sir.
person.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
what they usually do.
Yeah, the other one that's popped up this morning is apparently Occasional Cortex has been
She's in hot water.
been going off on how she was threatened and yada yada yada.
Apparently wasn't anywhere near it.
Was not there. What does this remind you of? What's little
Which-
fuzzbutt's
Oh,
name?
David Hogg or some
Yeah.
other honky
Yeah.
nonsense?
Or I was there. What's his name?
A hog.
No, the newspaper for the alleged journalist.
Brian Williams.
Yeah,
Is that
Brian
it?
Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. That wonderful piece of brilliance and tour de force.
Oh, Raptor, what happened is the local Phoebes and Rangers here in our part of Texas have Joel says, Ocasio Smollett. Yes.
Because remember, you're always going to get accosted by a couple of MAGA hat wearing white dudes at 2 a.m. in Chicago in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
While you're on your way to get your Italian footlong.
Yeah. So anyway, what happened here locally was a long-term investigation by both the Rangers and the Phoebes on human trafficking and a few other things.
Underage
Yeah.
sexual servitude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underage sexual servitude. So they swept up a few people last night and this morning and included the president of one of the larger local car dealerships.
Yep.
And by larger, we mean they've got dealerships all over the daggum place.
Yeah.
And guarantee you, the Rangers let the Phoebes tag along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know the guy's dad, his dad turned the business over to him a few years ago.
And
Oh, crap.
it's now going, damn it.
His dad is
Probably losing his damn mind.
a Vietnam veteran, infantry, a very religious man,
Deacon
and
his local church, isn't he?
yeah,
Oh, you're going to be peeved.
has also been very supportive of many local charities over the years.
And law enforcement.
Yeah,
Never heard of
Sarah,
him.
actually, this guy is a fairly good guy as car dealers go. But yeah, his son.
Stay away from his basement, but
Yeah. Yeah, his son's going down probably to do hard time for this.
if he doesn't,
I don't know what the age of consent is here.
17.
17. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of states in the South. Some of them it's 14 still, which is just not right.
Mm. California tried to lower it to 12 when about
Yeah.
2008
I remember that.
Yeah.
because it's California and they're run by idiots. these
Yeah.
days.
So anyway, yeah, occasional cortex wasn't even there, so we've got another.
Ocasio Smollett.
Yeah, Ocasio Smollett now.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
just Hillary dodging sniper fire.
Yeah.
Now, what was it that Brian Williams claimed?
Taking RPG fire.
Yeah.
RPG fire. And was Dad Rather, what's the frequency, Kenneth?
Yes.
Jussie Smollett.
Juicy Smouye.
Yeah.
It's just, wow, guys.
No, on the topic of the person that got arrested in the conversation we were having before this started, I had an interesting conversation with my old man because of that. I did not know it, but the division at LAPD that handles that is entirely federally funded,
Oh yeah.
and they do 2 to 3 raids a week,
Mhm.
and they don't even get to have LAPD SWAT ride along. Because LA SWAT is so busy handling everything else they do, the same unit that investigates the child trafficking and that nonsense, normally is running their own raids, and then they will have LAPD SWAT come in and do the AARs on all their 60 days.
Yeah.
And I've also guarantee they got a really high turnover rate.
Yeah.
Yes, I did not know that they have annual psych evals that they are required to do as part of the job, both before they come into that division and
Every
year.
Every year thereafter.
Oh yeah. Same thing with including FBI, and including the folks at Marshal Service that do a lot of that.
Yeah. Anything involving crimes involving children.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places that don't but should.
yes.
Your folks assigned to anything that involves children should receive regular psych evals and counseling.
Well, a friend of mine that did that for many years, she's a female officer up in Casper, Wyoming. And she literally left law enforcement because she was at the point she was ready to start capping people.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Well, not the
Hey,
capping
Sarah, the other Sarah.
part. Not the capping part, but
Yeah. Oh, she was,
when I was working CAPERS, which is crimes against persons.
Yeah.
Up in the Panhandle, it got really. I was finally removed from my position for my own good.
yep, that's the kind of stuff that happens. And as a parent, if anybody had screwed with either one of my daughters like that, I'd have killed them, point blank.
Yeah.
You know, put
I
my
can-
ass in jail. I don't care
Most daddies would.
because that son of a bitch is going to be dead.
I can justify that one to God in about a heartbeat.
They had most Texas grand juries.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the one guy in Shiner that caught the guy in the barn with his daughter and beat him to death?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
No build.
the grand jury met for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. And no building. And Jason said CPS should do that. He worked for him for 18 months. By the end, I had a list. Oh, yeah, Jason. I can believe that.
It was Shiner, Texas.
Yeah.
The went out to the barn, found
Isn't that the home of Shiner beer?
it is
Yes.
Shinerbach, Shiner Brewery.
Yep.
Spetzel Brewery.
Yep. Spetzel,
And
not Shiner.
he apparently grabbed something heavy and went to work like he was getting paid to do it.
Uh-huh.
Good man.
And the grand jury went, and
Right?
John V says he used to know a prison guard at Folsom. He told me about a guy in prison for killing a guy who abused his daughter, bailed him out and shot him dead in front of the jail. Yep. That's happened more than once, John. I know for a fact that happened in Arkansas back in the late 60s.
happened at DFW Airport.
Oh, that's right. It did. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hadn't heard about this.
Oh, that's been 20 years back.
Yeah.
Agency was child molester fled the state agency. He got picked up in their state, so he's being extradited back.
Yeah.
And
Daddy met them at the airport.
airplane walked up behind the officer and the suspect of baggage claim and did the deed.
Yep. Back of the head, one shot.
Yep.
On the one hand, I don't blame him. On the other, son, that's a lot of witnesses.
He didn't
He
care.
didn't care.
Yeah.
If I remember right, don't quote me on this because it's been 20 years ago. If I remember right, the state of Texas grand jury no-billed him on capping the guy, and the federal grand jury true billed him on carrying a gun inside the skip.
Yeah. That's what he went down for.
Of course he did.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, it was not a problem. Trust me. The other thing that's kind of interesting, to use Psaki or whatever her name is, Jen Psaki's term, is circling back.
Saki
Oh,
what
that-
she's drinking right now.
Yeah.
Wow. That child's elevator does not go to the top floor.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know who decided she needed a press secretary, but that poor thing's being abused.
Well, she's been a loyal Democratic supporter and
She's
talking head forever.
she's got no business being up there in
No,
front of a reporter.
She doesn't.
Oh, but Republicans, that party of misogynists and sexists, couldn't be bothered to send a woman to be the press secretary. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
And how did Democrats appreciate that and all those loyal supporters of women and feminism?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They threatened her family and her to the point she had to have a security detail.
Yeah. Sarah, messing with your kid is a good reason to let the monster off the chain, and people do a lot more than a lot of people realize. Yeah, Josh Trump had good female press secretaries, and he let them do the job.
Yeah.
We had that conversation the other night.
Kayleigh McEnany just
Yeah,
she suited up for battle every time she stepped out in front of reporters.
yeah.
She wore that
She-
business suit like she was
she
gonna
had
go
a list.
slap a
Yeah,
bitch
she
with an
did.
axe.
Yeah, she did.
And Sarah Sanders didn't do a bad job either.
No, and now she's running for governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, and we'll probably win.
And I would move there to vote for her.
Wasn't her daddy the
Governor, yeah.
Arkansas for a while?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to watch her win.
Yeah, Arkansas is one of those states that went from perennially Democratic when I was growing
Yellow
up.
dog Democrats.
Yeah, yellow dog Democrats, and now it's a Republican state.
Oh, it's hard for them.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not surprising, really, when you look at the history of the parties. It's not that the parties flipped, contrary to that stupid narrative pushed by so many failures that call themselves public schools. It's that at some point the Democrats divorced themselves from the voting blocs, which had traditionally supported them,
Mhm.
like labor, as we're now seeing with the Biden administration that just sat there and killed jobs for pipe fitters and welders.
Yeah.
Thing is I will guarantee you in 4 years, those same unions that just lost those jobs will vote for the next Democratic candidate. They'll do it again.
Yep, because that's what they're directed to do.
Well,
Yeah, Richard says defined had. Well, he did not have them in the way you're thinking, Richard. He provided good press secretaries who were able to do the job and do it well.
they got to think on their feet.
Oh, speaking of thinking on their feet, one more thing that lovely San Francisco has done,
Oh, God, now what?
in addition to changing the names on all the schools, they have also now decided that Lowell School, a magnet school in San Francisco, is not diverse enough. Now, you're looking at me funny, and I understand that. Lowell has a history. It's one of the oldest public schools in the United States.
Okay.
It was set up as a magnet school back in the 70s.
Okay.
Competitive exams to get in, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Lowell was and has been multiple years in the top 10 of schools in the United States, public or private.
Okay.
A lot of, excuse me, a lot of PhDs have come out of there. A lot of very important people have come out of that school. But because it's not diverse enough, they're going to do away with the entry requirements and diversify the school.
Do away with the entry requirements.
Yeah. So they're going to take one of the best public schools in the United States and turn it into another third world fucking school.
Yep.
It's San Francisco. Did you honestly expect anything else?
Yes.
Yeah, I did, because
I didn't.
the people, well, I don't know.
It's an idiocracy over there.
Yeah, that it is.
Yes, but certain institutions have still managed to function in spite of the idiocracy.
And the idiocracy hates those functioning institutions.
Yeah. And Joel, there were a lot of Asians in that school, yes. There were very few blacks. There were very few Hispanics. The ones that did made the entry requirements. And Lowell had never dropped their requirements.
No, that's where they screwed up.
Yep.
The other,
Also, of note, did anybody hear about the Washington Times putting up about that arrest in Arizona?
no.
11 Iranians got busted trying to cross through southern Arizona. And an Iranian diplomat just got arrested and prosecuted over in Belgium.
Well, speaking of Belgium, remind me when you're done with your rant. I have a rant to go off on.
Okay, well, I've got we can go back to the other one. Go ahead.
Belgians just evicted an imam for a tweet he made stating that homosexuality was forbidden under Islam. So the Belgians kicked him out of the country and shut down his mosque, one of the oldest mosques in Belgium. Now, right, wrong, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, don't care. But this should chill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
All he said was a basic tenet of his religion. Good, bad, indifferent, don't care. For this, he got thrown out of the country and the oldest mosque in Belgium shut down. This is chilling.
Yes, it is. And it's coming here.
What happens? It's his religion, and you may not like it, you may like it, don't care. His religion refused to bow down before the state, and he got punished. What happens when it comes here?
And it's coming.
Oh, yeah. The progressives have been agitating for that for a while now.
So what happens? I mean, I hate to tell folks this, but that's also a tenet of Christianity.
Yep.
Now, the Christians may not be following it, and I have those are Christians, and I have no opinions on the matter about whether a Christian follows his religion or not. However, this should be chilling.
Well, they've already taken care of Little Sisters of Mercy here.
It's not surprising though,
No.
given what Belgium busted that diplomat for. He was planning a bomb plot, and he got caught with proof that he'd been doing it. And he took his wife and kids along on a tour of Europe to several different sites in Germany, Belgium, and France in an effort to scout them out for recon. And they caught him as well as his associates. He had a
Good.
half dozen people
Yeah.
that he was
Don't-
set all up for it.
Don't have an issue with that. That's good cop work.
But it's not surprising that the Belgians would jump to the extremism of kicking the imam out and shutting down the mosque
For saying
in
that
light of.
homosexuality is forbidden under Islam, which
Well-
happens to be the bloody truth.
But it's not surprising they would jump to that in light of that recent event with the bomb plot. It's not right. It's not smart.
The precedent it sets should be chilling.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely agree.
And yet, one of the other things that Biden's going to do with foreign policy,
Oh God, he's apparently touring Foggy Bottom right now.
is to be
Isn't that his
more
toilet?
supportive of LGBTQEIEIO worldwide.
It's not our job.
No,
It's not
but
his job. His job.
his statement was that foreign policy will be more active in supporting these people.
Well, I hope he's ready to start burying some diplomats.
Yep.
I hate to tell a whole bunch of people this, but the job of the president is to take care of the U.S., not the world.
Oh yeah.
And I
Well,
want to see the support for LGB whatever in Tehran when they're getting flung off of buildings.
yeah,
Somebody needs to show me the American support for that.
yeah. And John's comeback is more active, except in the Middle East. I think he's going to try to push it in the Middle East too, John. To be perfectly honest.
Well, the interesting part, as far as Biden goes, this is going to be the interesting part. Homosexuality is not tolerated in China.
No.
China has the Winnie the Pooh has his hand so far up Biden's butt, he's using him like a Muppet with a firm grip on his tonsils.
The only way that they accept LGBTQ over there is lesbians and HD.
No, not even
No,
that.
it's not accepted
Really?
at
That's
all.
one of the things that Naomi Wu,
Yeah.
Sexy Cyborg, is having issues with. Is she's lesbian?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of us over here are pretty sure that the Chinese Communist Party got a hold of her girlfriend, which is why her tune has abruptly changed
Yep.
over the last couple of months.
Because the Chinese are notorious for hostages.
Yeah.
Just look at what they did with the media in Hong Kong and the new requirements when they took over. Anybody that has been negative to China, period, on the press that came through Hong Kong could be arrested and prosecuted
Being re-educated as we
in
speak.
China
Or
for their bad speak.
it just baffles me why we continue to have business people who do anything involving China at this point. I mean, seriously,
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Now,
screw
the
it.
part.
Walk away.
Does-
You can find money elsewhere.
Does
Yeah.
anybody remember what I said a couple of podcasts ago when I said keep an eye on China/Taiwan in
Yeah.
April? I was off by a couple of months.
Yeah. And Rafter says the comparison is horribly insulting to the Muppets. Yes, it was, but it's true.
China has announced that any mentions of independence coming out of anybody in Taiwan is a declaration of war.
Yeah, Johnny, you're right. Trump did sign that executive order. Biden is expanding it, but I think Biden is going to take it over the top so far that the pushback in the world community is going to be huge.
Which executive order? He signed, what, 50 of them?
Yeah, for the expanding the LGBTQ, whatever.
Yeah, I want to see a Diplo schmuck in Tangiers telling the Moroccan government that they've got to be kinder to the gays.
Yeah. Oh, Joel brings up a good point.
I believe persona non grata is going to be a fairly common thing in Foggy
Yeah.
Bottom.
If they survive being PNG'd. Joel says the trouble with fighting for human freedom is one that spends most of its time defending scoundrels. For it is against scoundrels that the oppressive laws must be first aimed, and oppression must be stopped at the beginning if it is to be stopped at all. And guess who said that? H.L. Mencken.
Mhm.
Yep, and
Well,
it's
the thing of it is, I hate. I'm a realist. I am a realist, and I'm sorry, but I have an issue with giving freedom or justice to people.
Yeah.
Things that are given by strangers are never treasured as much as those things you take for yourself.
no, and you'd think we would have learned that by now.
You think that'd be in our DNA.
Yeah.
Don't give them freedom. They don't. You can hand that nebulous United States across the big water can give freedom, and they're not going to treasure as much as freedom they've taken for themselves.
Yep.
Stop giving them crap and make them earn it.
Yeah.
Either they want freedom and they'll fight for it, or they don't want it that badly, in which case we don't need to be there.
Is that kind of like trying to give Africa modern society and culture and lifestyles?
Yeah. Well,
If they want justice, they need to fight for it.
Yeah.
If they want freedom, they need to fight for it. We need to stop spending money and blood giving them stuff they don't treasure.
well, we've done it since World War II.
I know, and it irritates the snot out of me on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the foreign aid thing. What are they doing? They're upping foreign aid rather than putting that money where it needs to be here in home.
Foreign aid should come after everything's taken care of stateside.
Yep.
If there's anything left over in the budget after we deal with our stuff stateside, then we can start handing it out.
Yeah.
We don't need to be prioritizing giving money to outer Gustarkia.
Yeah.
Over Arkansas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
$100 million to for the LGBTQEIO in Pakistan.
Pakistan. Oh, that's going to be fun.
That's just going to turn around and get spent on anything else.
Well,
no, they'll have the seminars, and there'll be a guy in a leather trench coat taking notes, and everybody that attends the seminar will disappear over the next 6 weeks.
Yep. And the money will go into the usual scammers' pockets over there, just like it always does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people don't realize is the U.S. is unusual in that bribery is basically not legal here.
Yep.
Pretty much everywhere else in the world, bribery is
not only legal, bribery is expected.
Yeah. And it's the grease that lubricates many, many economies around the world.
Graft and corruption. I hate to tell folks this, outside of the U.S. and Europe, and I'm not so sure about most of Europe, outside of the U.S. and Europe, graft and corruption is expected. You deal with it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Richard says foreign aid ends up in bank accounts in Switzerland, Turks and Caicos, and Liechtenstein.
Yep.
You're exactly right. I remember a number of years ago when Lockheed got sued by the State Department for giving bribes to Saudi Arabia on an airplane deal. And
State Department.
Lockheed was going, what did you expect us to do to get the contract? Oh, well, you should have done it above board.
You can't.
You can't. Bribery is expected.
The company that did bribe them, Airbus,
got
the contract.
Got the contract.
I remember my father doing more with $1,000 in 1970s Nigeria than the State Department because Dad went down there with a stick and he made sure the money went where it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to make sure everybody gets their cut proper.
Yeah. Sarah says the probability of bribes goes up the further east you go in Europe. That is true.
No, that's no lie.
Yeah.
Well, I was honestly shocked to hear what depths that Canadian company, SNC Lavalin, went to try and get the deal with Gaddafi and company. And No surprise, Justin Trudeau willingly went along with their little thing about trying to kill the investigation.
I don't.
Well,
I look at these folks, at
Scumbags.
the State Department. I looked at them, with actually pity.
Yeah.
It's like you poor, innocent little schmucks.
yeah,
You naive little twerps.
Yeah.
Who the hell let these children out without a minder?
yes,
Actually, I got in trouble for saying that one time.
yeah.
Who are they going to find to be the minder? What, are they going to put you on contract? Seriously, let's think about this for a second. We're going to put Ian on contract in Africa supervising State Department.
Well, that way he knows how much the bribes are supposed to be.
I know exactly how much about it.
Yeah. John brings up,
Would you do it willingly?
Depends how much they paid me, and if they got out of my way.
yeah, we were told we were allowed to do the bribes as long as it was the customary and usual amount. And I know in South America, the customary and usual amount is 10% of value of something that's coming in. Because we broke an engine down there and had to get one shipped in. And they wanted a bribe, which was 10% of the value to get it out of customs.
Out of customs. Customs is the
Yeah.
biggest soak for bribes.
And we went to the embassy and said, hey, you guys need to go pay the bribe. We need the motor. What? Go pay the fucking bribe. We need the motor to get out of here. Josh says, Ian would either wind up rich and the States and the Stadies would disappear, or both.
Stadies wouldn't necessarily disappear. They'd learn. The ones that were too damn dumb to learn, I know Americans can learn overseas.
Yeah.
Americans can adapt. I've seen it.
Oh, yes.
But the current crop, all these ivory tower little fluff bunnies, just like.
Now, Sanford, it's not all the traffic would bear. There is a schedule of bribes.
Yeah. Trust me. I watched my brother lose his mind because somebody wanted a bigger bribe than what was, and that little 10-year-old lit off into somebody.
Well, my buddy that was involved with the Russian oil fields.
Oh God, talk about bribes.
Yeah.
They don't have a schedule. Those damn sucking Siberian snow pimps don't stick to a bribery schedule.
Well, what he did was hired a Russian lady
No, there you go.
who was extremely good looking, 6 feet tall, well built, and she was his assistant and translator.
That is a wise man.
Mm-hmm.
So she handled all the negotiations. And he said a couple of times she looked over at him and said in English, get up and walk out. So they got up and walked out.
Smart one. There was a
Said the next time I went back, there was a different set of people across the table, and everything was back to the level it was supposed to be. But he said he's to the point today he cannot even look at vodka.
there was a stacked Scottish girl,
Yeah.
wife of one of the junior engineers, and
Yeah.
my God, redheaded and stacked. Who was she was the one that brought in the dad would have to bring in the refreshments, because you don't do business in the third world without a lot of dancing around and refreshments and dodging the question. And there were some times when that little thing would undo a couple of buttons,
Yeah.
and the folks on the far side of the table would forget their train of thought, and Dad would walk out with a better deal than he'd been expecting.
Yeah. And Richard brings up another good point. State Department rails about bribes, but every year they get more funding for entertainment.
Fucking State Department.
Yeah.
Man,
They just they haven't gotten any better.
No.
They annoyed the crap out of me before, and they haven't gotten any better.
the
Oh,
only
hell,
time
at least you never got told you couldn't be there. We got told that one time in Hong Kong,
I have been told I couldn't be there.
officially by the embassy.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, they did that to us. We landed with an emergency at Chingy. in the rain with an engine in the bag. And this embassy asshole showed up and says, "You guys have to leave. You can't be here. You're not allowed to land here." And the aircraft commander kind of looked at him and said, "Well, that's nice, but we're here."
I've been P&G'd over an assault that I've got witnesses that said I was in a club on the other side of the country when it happened. And they went, "No, it was him," and P&G'd my butt.
Well, your witnesses were probably a little suspect knowing you.
That's beside the point.
The only time I had to do with State Department directly was when we were on our way to Afghanistan and the plane broke down as we landed at Shannon Airport in Ireland.
Yeah.
And the State Department there at Shannon was very quick to put 2 batteries worth of artillerymen up in hotels in Ireland and make sure there was a police escort to the hotel, one watching the plane at the airport, and one staying in each of the hotels 24/7 to make sure that nothing happened with the locals. They got everything done in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I was rather pleased with them for that.
We got dumped on the local economy in Hong Kong, and all we had was Cadillac jets. Do you know how much room at the Hyatt in Hong Kong cost in the 1970s?
I don't want to know.
It was not cheap.
It's probably still more expensive than my car payment is now.
We were there 4 days, and the bill was $7,000. Of course, we were also eating in the hotel restaurants
And drinking.
It might have been a drop or two of liquid
I don't
refreshment.
mind getting thrown out somewhere for assault, and I did. It annoys the hell out of me getting tossed out of somewhere for something I didn't do. It just really annoys the crap out of me.
Justifiably.
Josh wants to know if you're banned from DC and Austin yet.
I haven't been from DC. They do. They have. I have had my PCS to DC changed with a quickness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Joel. A pack of American cigarettes, especially Marlboros, was a damn good bribe in a lot of parts of the world. We got a $250,000 piece of hardware back from a Chinese boat a couple of years ago with a carton of Marlboro cigarettes.
Carton of Marlboros, Jim Beam, and Playboy magazines.
Yep.
Got more stuff done in West Africa. Every pilot I knew that flew aero contractors had a bag that had a bottle of, well, it was Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
Bottle of Johnny Walker, a stack of hundreds, 3 Playboy magazines, and 2 cartons of Marlboros.
Yeah.
I said, Mom and Dad walked a B-40 rocket launcher and 3 rockets through customs at Murtala Muhammad International Airport.
Yeah.
With a bottle of White Horse whiskey and a Playboy magazine. I was there. I was riding the cart that they put it on.
Yeah.
See, this is why it is really good that I avoided being a teenager or a little bit older in the 80s. Because that's the kind of stuff I would have enjoyed being a part of and getting my hands on.
I really expected the customs agent to unzip the bag with the rockets in it to at least blink. Yeah, unzip the bag, grab the bottle of booze and the 3 magazines, zipped it back up, wished my dad a good day.
Yeah. Richard, if you were playing around over there at that time at Lima sites, you were probably flown around by a friend of mine named Weird Neil. That was Air America. And Sanford says, "You're up too. Paid my rent with a half-gallon jug of Jim Beam." Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, I traded a case of Coors beer for an engine in that Sugi once.
I traded CDs for stuff we needed.
Yeah. No, which, yeah. The new Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, has signed on to a stand down for extremism in the military.
So much for the Marines.
Yeah, well,
Pretty damn much. And seriously, Mr. SecDef, really? You and I both know the safety stand downs don't do a damn thing.
I want to see what their definition of extremism is.
Yeah,
well, that's the question. is the reality czar going to determine what's extremism in the U.S.? Yeah, that's
It's getting the point. I wear a Mjolnir all the time.
Yeah.
And it's getting the point that somebody's going to see it. I think I'm probably going to be in a fight.
yeah. Richard, sorry about that. You would have, and I use the term loosely, enjoyed the flight up there.
I don't recall enjoying a flight into or out of Africa ever.
Well, this was over in Thailand and other spaces with Air America, with
Again,
C-123 providers and helicopters and
again, I don't remember flying Aero Contractors, which was not wink wink Air America, wink wink nudge nudge. Don't
that
ever
was
remember.
Southern Air Transport.
Don't ever remember enjoying a flight.
Well, at least over there, they were, if you didn't bring a gun, they loaned you one for the flight.
Oh, that's a good point. Hmm.
Yeah, Monty Python skit on the mincing army parading. Ah, yes.
Yeah, the shifting what is extremism and the shifting what is white supremacy. The goalposts are shifting so badly. They're
Oh, they're leaving a goddamn rooster tail.
no, they're blue shifting.
Yeah.
And it's getting old really quick.
Yeah, and I'm a redhead. You can't get more white than me,
Yeah.
and I have a non-standard religion, and I'm afraid that sooner or later it's going to cause an issue.
Yeah, Josh says, I'll bet you enjoyed every landing after the fact with the Bush pilots. Hey, any landing you walk away from is a good one.
Any one landing you can walk away from is a tolerable one.
No, it's a good one.
I love that we have the pilot, the guy who jumps out of airplanes because, well, they're not always going to stay up
He's
in the
freaking
air.
stupid.
Well,
Hey.
the recruiter told me that chicks dig guys who jumped out of planes, and I was dumb enough to believe it.
Yeah, you were.
My ground pounding combat arms ass just knows that so long as I get to where I'm going in one piece, I don't much care.
I remember looking up on the side of a CH-47, a shit hook one time, and watching all the fluid running down the wall
Well, it's supposed to.
and asking the loadmaster if that was okay. And he didn't even pause between pounding down M&Ms to say, it's all good. So when it stops running, you got to
Yeah.
worry.
Because you're out.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, Richard, you got to enjoy a combat landing in a C-130. That was fun. He says, I swear they reversed the engines 100 feet before the start of the runway.
No kidding.
Possible. There are ways to get big airplanes on the ground very quickly, and
Some of those ways are even in the manual.
yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Well, there is
we know
that.
We don't need no stinking manuals.
Trust me, those bush pilots in Africa knew all the tricks.
Yeah, there's a thing in aviation called a 50-foot obstacle, which supposedly lengthens the amount of runway or needed to take off or land. Supposedly. However, there are tricks.
Bob the Nut Rushing bouncing that tri-motor over the mud hut at the end of the runway comes to mind.
I have a question that I think you can answer for
Probably
me, Jim.
don't want to hear the answer.
There's the way the manual says to do things. There's the way the factory says things should be. But in aviation, how often do you actually stick to either of those and have to do your own crap aftermarket to actually make stuff work?
Depends on where you are.
Yeah, that's the right answer. You have an envelope for an airplane. That's pretty much laid out in the specs. You try to stay within the envelope for various reasons. One of which is you don't want to pull the wings off.
That would be contraindicated, I
Yeah.
imagine.
There are a number of parameters, which are better known as spaghetti charts, that you have to calculate various things through. Weight and balance, your takeoff roll versus temperature, yada, 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 yada. Sometimes you might tweak things a little bit.
I know there was some old gray-haired guy that used to work for Ford Aircraft that would bob the knot rush and lifted that Ford tri-motor 3 feet in the air and then bounced it down so that the landing gear springs or hydraulics or whatever the hell
It was springs. They didn't have hydraulics.
would give enough lift to clear the mud hut. I know he grabbed his chest just briefly.
Yeah.
Speaking
I will say we've kind of stretched the envelope a little bit. One time coming out of a location in the Far East with a little bit too much weight on the airplane. Yeah, he basically went, yeah, fuck it, it'll fly, I think.
I love the little added, I think.
Yeah. Well, we had to go around the island off the end of the runway.
That'll,
We couldn't get over
tighten
it.
your shot group by a factor or more.
Well,
It's like, I think,
it's like the guys flying
diamonds out of your ass.
B-29s, 505th out of Saipan on the raids on Vietnam or raids on Japan in World War II. I happened to run into a couple of those guys at one of their conventions down in the bar, and one of them said very calmly, sitting there sipping his scotch and water, said, "Yep, it was always fun." Says never got out of ground effect till about the time we hit Iwo Jima. I'm sitting over there mentally calculating.
Saipan to Iwo Jima.
That's 750 miles. That's 750 miles in ground effect.
that's 750 miles less fuel to weight down the aircraft.
Yes, and it was also the fact that ground effect on a B-29 is about 200 feet. So they spent roughly 2+ hours at 200 feet in a fully loaded bomber with no autopilot.
Sweating.
Yeah.
Like a whore in church.
Yeah.
No, at that point, that's a whore before the judgment seat.
The other thing is, and this is an issue too, is the amount of weight on the airplane determines how fast you can climb. I have been in airplanes where we were step climbing to get to altitude because we couldn't get there with the fuel we had on board. It was like climb, burn off, climb, burn off, climb, burn off, climb, burn off, finally get to the altitude we were supposed to be at. And everybody on the airplane go, we're here.
I remember Bob the Not Russian landing somewhere on a dirt road and kicking an entire village off his plane.
Yeah.
Because something angry in the sack had gotten loose
Oh,
and everybody in the back was running away from it.
yeah.
And Bob put that plane down with a quickness and threw everybody off.
Did he throw the thing in the sack off too?
Oh, yeah.
It probably went out as soon as the door was open.
But apparently, whatever the hell it was, everybody on the plane wanted away from it.
Yeah.
And in one giant mass, we're running back and forth. And I learned more Russian swear words.
That does tend to screw with the trim when you do that. Yeah. You know, we used to do that just to screw with people on the airplane. You know, like just get a new pilot up there and, you know, let him get all the trim set like he wants it. And then everybody that was not actually flying would go to the back of the airplane, you know, in slow steps.
Oh, y'all are dicks.
They'd retrim, you know. Then we'd ease back up to right behind the cockpit. We'd always have a cockpit curtain closed. Ease back up behind the cockpit. And God damn it, you know, you hear them cussing and retrimming. And then we'd all run to the back. And the airplane would go, yeah. And of course, we had to have the one patrol plane commander that got tired of that and went, yank, 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 yank. Bouncing off the ceiling, the floor, the ceiling, the floor, the ceiling, the floor.
Yeah.
And then this very calm voice comes over the PA, says, all right, y'all stop that shit.
Y'all done now?
things that you will never ever see approved in the UCMJ for punishment, but which are entirely effective.
Yeah.
Something to be said for that.
Yeah, Raptor, they did clank when they walked. Those old boys, one of them crash landed twice, once on Iwo Jima, once on Saipan, and got his entire crew out both times. Was a shot up B-29, and that's friggin' impressive, to put it mildly. And these guys were all little. They were maybe 5'5", 5'6". But I would have jumped in an airplane today with us, every single one of them, and not had a thought in the world about it, because they'd been there and done it and seen the elephant, kicked the elephant in the nuts, and went on about their business. Yeah, John V. I told you about jumping Rhino in my friend's father's airplane, right? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes, B-17 combat damage, Richard. That's real. And the number of people that made it and the number of people that didn't is just amazing. Yeah.
For those of you who were
Oh.
here for Tuesday's podcast, Cedar made good on her threat and sent out a
Yeah.
picture of a rhino in rope bondage.
Yes, she did. And it was cute.
Is she on?
Yeah,
That
she's
girl.
on.
Cedar, honey, you ain't right.
We've known that for a while.
I opened that and giggled for 15 minutes.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to talk about for just a minute. The last couple of days, I've been in a couple of different conversations online with people that are really, really getting depressed.
No, no kidding.
They're worried about what's going to happen. They don't know what to do. They're questioning what they're doing for a living. Folks, we've been through these times before. This is not new. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody does. But what makes us different is that we are strong enough and have enough will to succeed to kick the depression and go on about our business.
I think actually the best thing you could do is, one, turn off the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And two, trim back your social media presence by I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
dumping Facebook has done wonders for my state of mind.
It's done wonders for my productivity.
Yeah.
I did over 2,100 words this morning.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't mind a 30-day ban.
Oh my God! Speaking of productivity, Rita had a thought and put an outline, a book outline in my head, and
and here we go.
oh geez.
Yeah.
Oh, my little darling's twisted.
It's not like we didn't already know that.
Yeah, but wait till you see this thing.
I mean, y'all make a hell of a good couple.
It's fun.
Y'all,
When the twist intertwine.
oh, y'all, wait till you get the first draft of this thing. It's not right. It just ain't right.
But laughter is the best medicine, Cedar. You're right.
Yes, it is.
And you've got to, you don't have a choice. We got to pick up and go on. Yeah, things are going to shit. They've gone to shit before.
Things are always going to shit, guys.
Yeah.
This is not a new thing.
Uh-oh, I think Sanford's in trouble.
What's he done this time?
I think Cedar's going to educate him again.
Oh God! Remember the military acronym of FIDO.
Yeah.
FIDO.
Yeah.
FIDO.
And it works damn well.
Fuck it, drive on.
Yep.
This is not the worst pandemic we've ever been in. We've survived the human race has survived every previous pandemic. We'll survive this one.
Oh, Cedar's really pissed. She used both names.
What did Sanford do?
He made the wrong comment.
Oh dear. But every previous pandemic life has gone back to normal, and it will go back to normal again. Despite the fact there's a whole bunch of social engineers that want to use this as a reset button to change society to fit their idea of what society should be.
Yeah.
Society's too big. Societal inertia is a thing. It's too big to change that way. We're gonna be fine.
Well, not only that, but we went through this under Carter. We went through this under Clinton. We went through this under Obama. We're going to get through this time too.
This is just Obama part 2,
3.
part 3.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo. Biden is Obama light,
Yep.
and he doesn't even have what little social capital that Obama had.
Yeah.
He's coming into a country that's bitterly divided.
Yep.
That even the people that voted for him don't think much of him, which is totally opposite of what Obama had. It's going to be okay, guys.
Yeah.
They're going to make a lot of noise,
They're
and
going to make a lot of mistakes.
they're going to
too.
make mistakes or make noise, and don't get me wrong, there'll be some issues. They're going to pass some stupid laws. We can fix that.
Yep.
It's going to be all right.
It's
And
going to
Speeder-
take time.
Yeah. And Cedar says, speaking from an infectious disease perspective, there are much nastier things. Yes, there are.
Jerry
And-
Pournelle put in the John Christian Falkenberg novels, the great and important thing is not to lose your nerve.
Well, yeah, not losing a nerve is part of it. And that's what concerns me, especially with the younger generations. They have not,
They haven't been tried.
they've never been tried. They've never failed because they weren't allowed to fail, because that wasn't politically correct.
I'm starting to think that my generation was the last one really allowed to fail.
It's not just the failing.
Yeah,
It's not just a failing. It's the simple fact that the U.S. culture, this is the ultimate nerf culture.
Yeah.
We outside of some of the reservations, our chronically poor are fat.
oh, they're far richer than most middle class
They're-
in a number of countries.
Your average American. Now I'm not talking about the fringes, but your average American does not face any serious challenges.
No,
And what we think of what the average American thinks is serious isn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
And these kids today are going, oh my God, I don't know if I can make, I don't know if I want to have children. What the hell?
Well, like I tell
You know.
people, I've gotten in trouble, but it's not going to stop me.
Yeah.
This whole pandemic is Thursday in Equatorial Africa.
Yep. Just put on your big boy pants, big girl pants, pull them up tight, Not
Fuck it,
too
drive
tight.
on.
not unless you want to talk with a high soprano voice,
Fuck it,
and go
Drive
on
on.
down the road.
Yep.
drive on.
Because at some point, you can either sit there and die or you can shut the hell up and get moving because you got things to do.
Yep. Well, folks, we wasted another hour and 3 minutes of your time today, for which we appreciate y'all chiming in. And thanks for the comments as always. Just remember, we're going to get through this.
We always do.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
be safe, okay?
Yeah. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Have fun. Eat a decent meal. Yeah.
Spend time with loved ones.
Yep. And check on your family, check on your friends. If you haven't heard from them, hey, give them a call. Jason, shoot me an email at oldnfo.com. Got a question for you. And we'll see y'all on Tuesday. We're going to go Tuesdays and Thursdays now. And take care. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Be safe, guys.
Be safe. See you later.
Oh, wow.